Bill O'Reilly here, Wednesday, June 24th, 2020. You are listening to the O'Reilly Update. Here's what's happening today in America. Only a quarter of Americans support cuts to police departments. New York Mayor de Blasio creating a task force to tackle illegal fireworks. The European Union considers a travel ban against Americans. Rhode Island moves to formally change the state's name and say goodbye to the Eskimo pie. Also ahead, is polling phony? But first, 25% of U.S. adults now back budget cuts for America's law enforcement agencies. A new survey from the AP also says 69% believe major changes are needed to stop police brutality. Just 5% think the justice system is fine the way it is. Big Apple Mayor de Blasio creating a new unit to tackle illegal fireworks. Angry locals have filed 12,000 noise complaints since the anti-police protests began in early June. The city is also spiraling out of control with gun violence, but the mayor is going to get those firecrackers. The EU proposing a travel ban against visitors coming from the USA. Lawmakers in Brussels say the spike in COVID cases here could spark new infections in Europe. The new restrictions would also apply to residents in Russia and Brazil. 125,000 Americans and growing have died from the virus in less than 4 months. Rhode Island Governor Gina Raimondo signing an executive order changing the state's official name on letterhead and other paperwork. The Democrat believes the state's full title, Rhode Island and Providence Plantations, has a slave connotation. A permanent name change would require a statewide vote. This, of course, is more PC stupidity. Eskimo Pie Ice Cream changing its name after 100 years. Company confirming the switch, saying the name Eskimo fails to promote, quote, racial equality and social justice. So goodbye to the pie. In a moment, polling. Do you trust it? I don't. Tell you why after this. Edward and his wife, Margaret, were looking forward to retirement. Edward started having serious health issues a few years before he turned 65 and had to take an unplanned early retirement. The loss of income and medical bills meant Edward could not afford his expenses, including the premiums on a $1 million life insurance policy. Faced with lapsing their policy for nothing, Edward and Margaret turned to Coventry Direct and were able to sell the policy for $130,000. If you own a life insurance or term policy that you don't need or can't afford, Coventry Direct can help you receive an average of 4 times more cash than you'd get from your life insurance carrier. You can even sell a portion of your existing policy and still maintain coverage with no future premium obligations. See if you qualify. Please call 1-800-888-3791 or visit CoventryHelpsSeniors.com. That's 1-800-888-3791 or visit CoventryHelpsSeniors.com. Time now for the O'Reilly Update message of the day. Polling, do you believe it? Recent polls have Joe Biden defeating President Trump in November, sometimes by 10 points or more. I believe if the election were held tomorrow, Mr. Biden would win, but not by a large margin. That's because many Americans are depressed over COVID and the assaults on traditional USA values. Depressed people usually vote for change, but not always. And things change in America very quickly. So a snapshot today does not apply in November. You may remember that most polls predicted Hillary Clinton would win back in 2016. Only the Rasmussen poll had it correct. And me. But I'm just a guy, not an expensive polling operation. So here's why many polls, perhaps most, are fraudulent. First, the polling companies are hired guns. Operations, corporations, companies pay them and often very subtly indicate that they want a certain outcome from the poll. So there is what they call methodology. But when the poll is released, you don't see that. You've got to go to the polling website to see the methodology. So let me give you an example. In almost every poll taken with Biden-Trump, there are from 5 to 9% more Democrats queried in the poll. Why? Well, the polling operation says, well, because there are more registered Democrats than Republicans in the USA. That's true, but the outcome of elections doesn't mean everybody's going to show up. So the fair way to do it is 50-50. If you want to get an accurate indicator of how people are thinking about a certain question, a political question. Then there are the independents. Now, this is the real scam here. So they usually do 30% Democrats, 24% Republicans, and the rest independents. Okay, where does that independent side? Is he or she liberal? Is he or she conservative? They don't tell you that. It's just independence. And here's what happens. So in any polling, you can go to a certain geographical region. And some of these polling places say, yeah, we'll make a lot of calls in San Francisco and Seattle, because they know that independents there are going to choose Biden much more than Trump. But that is disguised. It's called stacking the regions. Also, these internet polls are foolish. Senior citizens don't participate. Working people are not on the internet polls. Rural people don't do them. It's urban people. Polling headlines push some Americans in a certain direction. And that is the plan. That's what you're seeing now. So don't believe the polls. They'll only matter in early October after a couple of debates. I'm Bill O'Reilly, and I approve that message by actually writing it. For more news analysis, please visit BillO'Reilly.com for honest reporting. In a moment, something you might not know. Reopening America safely is everyone's responsibility, and no one believes that more than our friends at Real Time Products. In fact, they're helping businesses and organizations by giving away a free automatic dispenser with a purchase of 2 gallons of real-time hand sanitizer. Hand sanitizer dispensers are available in wall mount, floor stand, or countertop, so customers, employees, parishioners, anyone can dispense the sanitizer safely. Real-time hand sanitizer contains 70% alcohol, and you'll never need another hand sanitizer supplier. Real-time hand sanitizer formulated and packaged in the USA. To claim your free hand sanitizer dispenser, please go to getsanitizernow.com. Don't assume a business or organization you frequent doesn't care. They're probably having trouble getting sanitizer. So spread the word that Real Time has dispensers and gallons of sanitizer available right now. Do your part. Getsanitizernow.com. Getsanitizernow.com. Now the O'Reilly Update brings you something you might not know. 28 years ago today, musician Billy Joel finally graduated from high school. He was 43, and he joined more than 300 Hicksville High School students on Long Island for commencement back in 1992. He was 1 English credit short in 1967, so he never got his degree back then. Said Joel at the ceremony, quote, "I can finally pull myself out of this dead-end job," unquote. To date, Billy Joel has sold 150 million records. Here are some interesting facts about one of America's most accomplished songwriters. Starting with his famous New York pedigree, he's known as Mr. Long Island, but Billy Joel was actually born in the Bronx. His family moved to Hicksville when he was 1. Before breakout hits like Piano Man and Captain Jack, he took a few hits in the boxing ring. He won more than 20 bouts, but decided to throw in the towel, so to speak, after his nose was broken during a fight. Joel was not always a solo act. He formed a psychedelic pop duo, Attila, before his big break. They had one album. Some critics have called it the worst album in the history of rock and roll. I don't know if Billy would agree, but it's pretty bad. In 1971, Billy Joel released his first solo studio album called Cold Spring Harbor, but it flopped due to a production error. All the songs were sped up. Joel thought he sounded like Alvin and the Chipmunks. The songs were eventually corrected, but the musician, to this day, is not happy about it. In 1973, new label, new album. Piano Man brings Billy Joel his first top 20 hit and his most famous moniker. Almost 50 years later, Mr. Joel has had more than 30 singles, 6 Grammys, a Tony, and a Kennedy Center honors, plus his Hicksville High School diploma. And here's something else you might not know. The Piano Man's wall at home, filled with honorary degrees from Stony Brook, Hofstra, Fairfield, Syracuse, and other nationally recognized universities. Not bad for a high school dropout. Back after this. There are thousands of abandoned animals in the USA that need our help. I am partnering with Delta Rescue, the largest no-kill care-for-life animal sanctuary in the world. Founded by actor Leo Grillo, who left Hollywood to devote his life to saving abandoned animals. Delta Animal Sanctuary is a one-of-a-kind rescue unit. They are staffed by trained attendants who look after each animal, providing them water, treats, toys, and affection. Support Delta Rescue and put your legacy to work. Each life-saving gift helps Delta fulfill their mandate to rescue and care for animals. Request a free estate planning package at deltarescue.org/bill. For a limited time, please watch The Rescuer for free only at deltarescue.org/bill. The Rescuer is an award-winning documentary about Grillo's 2-year rescue of a family of 21 dogs abandoned in the wilderness. deltarescue.org/bill. Thank you for listening to the O'Reilly Update. I am Bill O'Reilly. No spin, just facts, and always looking out for you.